Good morning.
So I read your motion. Did you get a copy of that, Mr. Browning?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
Okay. I read it. Is there anything you want to add to it before we hear from Mr. Browning?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Browning, response, please.
Thank you. Well, there is no current parenting time order. There was some temporary agreement that they had that expired at the end of December. I believe it was for alternate weekends for Mr. Cook. And I don't think that this pair of people has ever had a firm custody order. So maybe it's appropriate to send this to the friend of the court for investigation.
So what, and I agree with you, that's going to probably be what I do. But my question is, according to everything I've read and what I know, because I have met these parties before.
Oh, okay.
They were working on a alternate weekend situation. Obviously, is that still in place while we work our way through the timely and expensive process of the friend of the court?
No, Your Honor. That was, I think, the core of the agreement. They apparently agreed to do that through the end of 24. And right now, the crux of the dispute is that there is no current order that controls.
So what's magic about 2024? Is everybody turn into a pumpkin in 2025? What's the problem?
I wasn't involved in that.
No,
I that they just
asking for your wisdom.
I think that as a temporary measure, they just kind of both agreed that they could have some holiday time through the end of the holidays and to agree on a temporary basis to alternate weekends and just see how it went.
All right. Well, I'm going to make the finding, just as I did in the last case, that pursuant to Shade versus Wright, 291 Michigan Appeal 17, a 2010 case, that before I can stick my nose into your business, because most people don't want my nose in their business, but before I can do that, I have to have something called proper cause or change of circumstance to do that. And unfortunately, poor communication and lack of cooperation between parents, which it kind of sounds like is happening here, does constitute change of circumstance to revisit parenting time. And the relevant best interest factor, once again, is MCL 722.23J, because it diminishes each parent's ability to encourage a close and continuing parent-child relationship between the other parent and the minor children. And as I said previously, that was stated in Bauman versus Hartman, a 2015 unpublished decision of the Court of Appeals, which Mr. Browning knows is not precedentially binding on this court for stare decisis purposes, but is very persuasive. So I'm going to find that, and I am going to refer the matter to the friend of the court for an investigation and recommendation relative to parenting time. Mr. Cook, are you currently working?
Yes, I am.
Okay, and I don't generally ask that of a represented client, Mr. Browning, for obvious reasons.
Right.
Meaning they can afford representation, they can afford the 150 cost for the reference. So I'm going to send it to the friend of the court for parenting time. Split the fees, 150 apiece. I am, and I do want an interim temporary order, Mr. Browning, if you could prepare that for alternate weekends from my standard Friday at 6 to Sunday at 6, unless the parties have some other ideas, and they do, you can find out from them, Mr. Browning, and you can incorporate that into an order. And then we'll have the friend of the court sort this out. They're obviously going to talk to you first and see if they can't come up with an agreement that both of you can live with. We can find it. You can unmute it, Mr. Cook. I don't care if it's. I'd much rather listen to dogs than people sometimes, so it doesn't matter to me.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. The last question I have is, well, two. Mr. Browning, any question on what I need the order to say?
No, I believe that you're saying it should be referred to the friend of the court. It should enter a temporary order allowing alternate weekend time from 6 Friday to 6 Sunday for Mr. Cook. Since it is Friday, should it begin next weekend or this?
I always, it's up to them. If you want to start it tonight, you can start it tonight. Otherwise, I generally start it the following because it gives time for people to get prepped and all that. But it's up to the parties. I don't really have a particular say in it. I mean, Mr. Cook, what do you think?
Well, first off, there was never a end date to this alternating weekends. It just abruptly stopped after Christmas. And 2 weeks ago would have been my weekend, and today would be my weekend with her as well.
Oh, okay. Then we'll start it today. Okay.
Okay.
Agreements are fine, and most parents operate this way, but sometimes you can't. But last question, Mr. Browning, think mediation would be helpful, or do you think that's somewhat of a foregone conclusion?
Well, I think maybe they would like to see what the friend of the court has to say first before engaging in mediation.
That would be a first. Most people don't. I'm going to tell you both this, just so you both know. The friend of the court recommendations are just that, the recommendations. And nobody's particularly thrilled with it. Even sometimes it's favorable to them. But I generally don't follow it to a T, but it's up to them. So if you two think you can come up with something yourself, you should probably do that before things get really complicated. And Mr. Cook, if you are thinking of retaining an attorney, I would do it sooner than later, because the longer this goes, the more difficult the process becomes. And I have to treat you, as Mr. Browning will say, just like him. And he knows more about this stuff than you do. So we'll take it from that point. But I will do the order of reference today and look for your order, Mr. Browning.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Folks, good luck. I look forward to working with you, but I also look forward to signing a agreement that both of you should come up with, because I'm going to use his initial or use their initials. VPC deserves to have two parents who can come together with this. Okay.
Okay.
Have a good week.
So I pick her up today at 6 o'clock then?
Yeah, I think I just said that, didn't I?
I just need to know where, I guess.
Where did you pick her up before?
I used to pick her up at school, but that's at 3:40.
Oh.
And I don't know whether she'll be at her mom's house or her grandparents' house at 6 o'clock.
Ready?
Well, maybe my client could weigh in on where, I'm so close, where he should pick up this time, this 1 week.
What you think, Danielle?
She would be at my house.
Your house. There you go. 6 bells. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you,
luck.
Your Honor.
You bet. We're adjourned.
Whatever she was doing down there with her and her new man, that she won't keep Junior. And I was like, no, we had an agreement.
How long did it take you to break down the door, get the child, and leave?